Hello guys, in this video we'll be discussing about plus and DSA technical interview question. So we are going through the series of technical questions. In that one, this is our fifth question. So what the question is, the interviewer, if you are appearing for any technical interview like software engineer, IT engineer, AI engineer, that time they'll check the knowledge of C++ and data, which is a very much essential for this profile. So the question could be like this: what is a virtual destructor? Why C++ uses virtual destructor concept? Can you explain me with example the purpose of virtual structure? This way the interviewer can ask you various questions. In that case, how you have to define? You have to define a virtual destructor. Makes sure that the destructor of the derived class is called when an object is deleted through a base class pointer, enabling proper resource cleanup in polymorphism. Now I'll elaborately explain you what actually it is with the help of program. So be there with me till the end to understand the concept clearly. First of all, the concept of virtual comes when we talk about polymorphic behavior. You know, C++ is object oriented programming wherein you need to incorporate polymorphism. Through polymorphism, we implement dynamism in an application. So if any dynamic behavior you want, then polymorphism is a must. And when you use polymorphism, it is for sure you will be using inheritance. So when these two concepts are there, inheritance and polymorphism, you will be using the concept of virtual. In in C++, we implement polymorphism with the help of virtual function. So for any behavior, if you want to provide a polymorphic behavior, that particular function should be made virtual in the base class. So if there is a class base, if this is a base class, here you need to enlist all the behaviors, all the functions, member functions, which you want to make polymorphic behavior, different object in the context, different behavior. What is a polymorphism? On that also we'll make some videos. During that I'll go in depth. Already one of my video is there, you can go through it. What is a polymorphism, how dynamism is implemented using that. Now here you will be making virtual. So here, if you define a destructor for this class in the public section, if you define a destructor, how we normally define? So this way the base class destructor is defined. So in this case, what is this is a base class destructor, fine. So when you define a new class from it, because it is an inheritance, for polymorphism we have to make use of inheritance. So when you make a new class, say the new class is derived from this base, you will make publicly, you will derive. So when you define, you will make use of some resources over here. Say some memory allocation you may do, memory allocation in the derived class. Then you may open some file pointers. Then you may open some database connections, sockets. So many things you can do here. You can allocate memory, you can open file, you can open sockets. And when you when you destroy the object of derived class, these all must be released. If you don't release, there will be leakage of these resources. So someone will be waiting for the socket, someone will be waiting for the file, and the memory will create this one segmentation. So this way, if you don't call the destructor of this class properly, now how you will define here the destructor? Public. So destructor of this will be derived, and you will be giving the cleanup stuff here. Cleanup stuff, that is, if memory is there, delete you are using. If file is there, you will be closing the file, f close. Sockets are there, you will be closing the sockets. Database connections are there, you will be closing. All this cleanup job you are doing here. So now whenever you make use of polymorphism, in the next slide I will show you. Whenever you make use of polymorphism, what you do, you will be creating a chain. When the derived class object is created, it calls base class construct. So the same way, when the derived class object goes out of scope, when the derived class object goes out of scope, when it is deleted, it must go back till the base class. That is possible. Now in polymorphic behavior, what we do, we implement it with base class pointers. So say this is a base class pointer, what we had there. This is a base class pointer, or you can say base PTR. So you will keep assigning in this base class pointer objects, different addresses of objects. Say D1 is the object of derived class. Now when you say delete, the job is over. After completing the job, when you say delete base PTR, what is there in the base PTR? The address of derived object is there. When the derived, now you are deleting base PTR, this object is deleted. The address of this object is deleted. But what it does, since it is a base class pointer, it invokes only base class destructor. It invokes only base class destructor. It will not invoke destructor which we have defined for cleaning up of all the resources used in the derived class. It will not call that. So that's why, to make sure that it will go back, go back to the base class and clean all the stuff which we I'm sorry, it's not go back to the base class, go to the derived class destructor as well and clean the all the stuff, memory, this file pointers, socket connections, blah blah. So this way, when we make it virtual, then only it will call the base class construct destructor. When we make it virtual, then only it will call base class destructor. So here we have derived. This is your derived class destructor. Here you have made the cleanup job. I have shown you here. You can see here this part which we have done. This will be called. Only if we make the base class destructor virtual. Base class destructor virtual. That's why it is the concept of virtual destructor. If we don't add the keyword virtual to this destructor, so we have to add here the keyword destructor, this one, virtual. Then this will be called. Otherwise, only the base class destructor will be called. See, I'll show you here. See, this is the base class destructor. Then I define derived class. Here we are doing all cleanup job. I have shown you in the slide. Then now when I implement polymorphism, it is the rule of polymorphism that you must use base class pointer, and the base class pointer later it can point to other derived objects. So now here how the derived object we are passing in obj. We have created the memory, we have allocated. Then when I say delete obj, now right now I have not given the keyword virtual here. It will simply call the base class constructor. So when I run this program, what will be the output of this program? Base class destructor, because I have not made the base class destructor virtual. Then to make sure that I must also call the derived class destructor, I have to use the keyword virtual. I have to label the base class destructor as virtual. Then only it is possible. It will call the derived class destructor and it will do the memory cleanup job. Now, after saying virtual, the output will be base class destructor and derived class destructor. So what I said, when I don't say virtual, then we'll get problem here. When I say virtual, there will be no problem. Here, whatever job we have done, whatever cleaning we have done, it will be okay. It will get called. That I will demonstrate now with the help of example here. Let's say this is the program we have, same program we have now here. Base class, in that one without virtual destructor it is. Without virtual destructor, how it will run? See, if I run, I get base class destructor only. Now I'll do the changes. I'll add the label. I'll provide a label virtual to the function. See, I have made the changes now. Virtual. What I should get now? Now in this case, the derived class object also gets called. See here, base class constructor, base class, derived class destructor, and base class destructor. So this way, first the derived class destructor gets called, and then the base class destructor gets called. So this is how you can first you need to understand this concept thoroughly. Then in one line you can say what is the destructor, virtual destructor concept. This way to the interviewer you can say a virtual destructor makes sure that destructor of the derived class is called when an object is deleted through the base class pointer. If we don't say virtual, the derived class destructor will not be called. If it is not called, there will be problem with memory leakage, keeping the files, sockets, database connections open. This will create a mess and the problem will go to system hang. That's why you should avoid all such things. And whenever you make use of C++ programming, or whenever you develop C++ projects, when you implement polymorphism, you should take care that destructors of your base class must be labeled with keyword virtual so that they can properly clean up the derived class resource. Thank you. Thank you for watching.